It's been over a year and 2 months since my children and I joined my husband in Canada. And if anyone had told me that I would be unemployed till this time, I would never had believed it. Unfortunately, that is the situation I find myself in. Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Edwina. I'm so excited to have you all with me. In today's video, I'm going to share with you all why we came to Canada, how we came, my struggles with finding a job, and the effect that has had on me. Please stay with me through to the end and listen to my story. So it all started in 2019 when my husband wanted to continue his education, as he had already had his master's degree in the UK. He was looking at other destinations for his PhD. So he was actually looking at Johns Hopkins in the USA. And the reason we chose Canada rather than the USA was because all of us wanted to go as a family. We wanted to be together as a family, and in the USA, spouses of PhD students could not work. I don't know if things have changed with regards to that now. If anybody knows any changes with regards to that now, kindly let me know in the comment section. But as of the time my husband was considering going to school for his PhD, spouses of PhD students in the USA could not work. So that was one reason why Canada came top. And also we considered other things like gun violence, because we were moving with children. We wanted a safe and more peaceful environment for the children. All our considerations, mostly because of the fact that I could not work and all the other things I spoke about, we settled on Canada. My husband applied for a program with the University of Toronto, and God being so good, he had admission. And we were all so excited. However, this was in the COVID era, so it took a while for him to finally come to Canada. He did almost a year and over of his schooling in Ghana, where we come from. So the idea was for him to come in first and settle, and then we all join him. We wanted to live together as a young family. We have children. We are very family oriented. We prioritize family. We want to live together as a family. We believe that as for some reason that God gave children to a father and a mother, and both a father and a mother has roles to play in their lives or in the upbringing of children. That is why we decided to all be together at the same place. And once he was going to school and his program was going to take him away for more than 4 years, at least 4 years minimum, so we decided to move together for the period of his schooling. So that was what actually brought us to Canada. He came first, and after a year of he being here, we finally joined him. Before my husband left Ghana, my youngest child was just about a little over a year old. So we were very happy to get back together and live as one family like we've always wanted. Before we moved in, my husband actually needed to rent a bigger place because, of course, the crowd is coming, so we needed a bigger space and all that. So that was some financial burden on him. He needed to find an additional job because, yes, we were coming in, and by the grace of God, he started work on the day we left Ghana, on our departure date. That was when, God being so good, he found work and started working an additional job. He found an additional job. He was already doing some campus jobs, but I mean, because we were coming in, the expenditure was obviously going to increase, so he still needed to find something extra. So that was when he got an off-campus job on the day we're actually departing Ghana. So we're all very happy. It looked like everything was coming together for our good. It took a while for our little guy to get admission into daycare, and that is one thing that really surprised me. I mean, how long it takes for you to get access into daycare in Canada is one thing that really surprised me. And someone actually gave us the heads up. So even before we left Ghana for Canada, his name was on the wait list. However, we got here and we still had not gotten admission for him yet. So he stayed home for a while, for over 6-7 months, before he finally got vacancy in daycare and started schooling. So for the period that he was home, it meant that I couldn't work because my husband was schooling and working at the same time. So I actually started actively looking for work in January of 2024. That was when my little guy got admission into daycare. I was very excited about that. And I felt, well, now that he's out of the way, I'm going to aggressively start looking for work. And I gave myself 3 months, guys. Was 3 months not long enough? I wasn't expecting anything to happen in the shortest possible time. I gave myself 3 months, which I thought it was reasonable enough. And I started looking for work aggressively, guys. All the websites you can think about, LinkedIn, Indeed, everywhere. I started looking for work. I started putting my CV all over the place. I would apply for anything. I wasn't discriminating, nothing at all. And I was just applying for anything that I would find. I kept applying and applying and applying, and I wasn't getting. Some you would never even hear from them. Some will come back and tell you, unfortunately, you were not suitable for the job. Unfortunately, we found someone who was more qualified for the job. And I was surprised because some of these jobs were jobs that they even stated that they don't have any, they are not looking for any qualifications. These were entry-level jobs, guys. These were entry-level jobs. I was looking for things in customer service. I was looking for retail. I was looking for these entry-level jobs because I had worked as in customer service and sales for 10 years prior to me coming to Canada. So basically, that was what I was looking at. But it got to a point that I started looking for anything at all. I did food handling certificate to be able to work in the food industry. And I started applying for just anything at all. Dishwasher, name them, anything at all. I started applying for them. Sales, Value Village, anything. Walmart, Value Village, all the shops, Costco and everything. And still, I was not making any headway. 3 months came to pass and I was really surprised that 3 months has gone and I had not gotten work yet. And I started getting worried because I wasn't expecting that it was going to take that long for me to get work. However, I kept trusting and hoping that I was going to get work. The other side of it is that I had some limitations on my permit because I came to Canada on a visit visa and I changed my visa here to a work permit by flagpoling. I have done a video on how I changed my visitor's visa to work permit in Canada. So I have a video on that. If you are interested, you can look at, I detailed the entire process in that video. So, getting a visitor's visa from Ghana, you don't need to do medicals. However, when I was coming, I still did the medicals anyway. After I had gotten my visa, I still did my medicals anyway and hope that at the time I'm trying to change my visa, they would have updated my portal with the medicals report so that I can get an open work permit. However, some way, somehow, at the point I was going to change my visa from a visitor's visa to an open work permit, they said my health medicals was not showing on my portal, and because of that they had to give me some limitations on my work permit. And I was okay. I thought, well, I had customer service and sales in my mind, so that's okay. So I was limited in my work permit. I cannot work in healthcare, I cannot work in childcare, I cannot work in schools. So anything that has to do with a vulnerable population I cannot work with, and that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. So that is a limitation on my work permit. And at the point I was given those limitations, I thought, well, I'm not even looking at working in these areas, so it didn't bother me at all. And then I started looking for work, and I realized that, oh my goodness, it is more difficult than I ever thought. And people I knew that were willing to assist me to get something were all in areas where I was limited to work. In care, there were care jobs, and in these areas where I had restrictions on my work permit. So as much as they were willing to help me get something to do, my work permit did not permit me, so I just couldn't take those jobs. So it became a very difficult situation, although we took it very cool and we're always hopeful that things were going to change for the better. It wasn't easy at all. I mean, looking at a family of 4 that my husband was the sole provider. We all know how expensive living in Canada is. Accommodation, feeding, everything was so expensive. And whenever I see my husband, I feel like, oh my God, this young guy is carrying so much of a load on him. I really wish I had something doing to support him, because I feel like the burden he's carrying on him is so much now. The fact that he is supposed to be focused on his studies, but because I haven't gotten anything to do yet, he still needs to be struggling so hard to provide for the family. And as much as I am optimistic that something good is going to come, the other aspect of it is the visa we came with expires just in November. You know, my husband was actually supposed to have completed school in November. So, you know, once it's a spousal visa, it's linked to the duration of your spouse's school term. So because of that, I mean, it became more and more difficult for me to find a job, because who would want to hire somebody who has a permit expiring in, say, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months? So that even made my situation very terrible. That made my situation very terrible. And it became more and more difficult for me to find work, because, I mean, when you have an opportunity for an interview, people want to know first what permit you hold, when is it expiring, because nobody wants to employ you today, train you, and then your permit is expired and they don't even know whether you will get an extension or whatever, you know, the Canada that we are in now. So all of that took a toll on me, honestly. I didn't know, this is something that I have never experienced, because all my life I have been working. This is the first time I have been unemployed, and for so long. So I saw that it started taking a toll on me. I started gaining so much weight. I started not feeling the urge to exercise like I used to do when I was so busy in Ghana doing so many things. I would still wake up at 4 a.m. and jump my rope and do my exercise before I kickstart my day. And here that I don't have so much doing, the edge is not there. I am just not able to pull my body to come along. And it's like I am not used to not being productive, and it's weighing me. I don't know if anyone understands me, but this thing has been a weight on me, because this is not me. I have worked right from elementary school. I mean, right from elementary school, my auntie used to make some traditional candies for me to go to school, and when I sell 10, I have one as my commission. So right from elementary school, I started knowing how to earn my own money. After secondary school, after high school, I went to teach in a daycare. I taught in a daycare. After high school, all my years in the university, whenever we are on vacation, I go back to the daycare to teach. I was also selling shoes along the line. Just after university, I did my national service and I got a job. So I have been working 1-2 jobs all my life throughout. I have been a very busy with work person, and that is what I love to do. I love being productive. I have loved to be productive, and that is all I know how to be. So being here and not really seeing what I'm doing, how productive I'm being, it puts me in this thing that I cannot even come to terms with. Okay, I cannot come to terms with, and it appears that I'm not so used to it. I'm not used to this, and it's becoming difficult for even my body to come along, to pull along and do things that I used to do very easily, like exercising and all that. And I realized that I started putting on so much weight, even though I wasn't even eating. But the truth is that I wasn't eating healthy too, you know. I wasn't eating healthy because I would normally not just get hungry and come, and anything that I lay my hands on, I would eat. And I was feeling tired almost all the time. Although I wasn't doing much, I was almost always tired. And seeing my husband trying to do everything on his own also really makes me feel like I'm not doing much to help. And yeah, so that has been the situation I find myself in, and it's very hard to believe that I have been in Canada for this number of months and I've still not found anything yet. And now I have even put a pause on applying for jobs because my permit is expiring very soon, and we have put in an extension because my husband is not done with school yet, and he applied for an extension. So we all applied for an extension. So I'm just hoping that when the extension comes, I'll be able to find something to do. But for the meantime, I just couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it anymore. So if you all want to know why I'm here, I am here because I couldn't take it anymore. I just couldn't take it anymore. This was not me, and I didn't like the way that I didn't like how things was going with me. I didn't like the situation anymore, so I didn't know what to do too. So I remember one day talking with my sister, and she suggested that why don't go on YouTube to learn how to braid, so that at least you braid people's hair and then they will give you something small. I thought that, how long am I going to take to learn how to braid, and is that something that I want to do? So thinking about it again, I felt like going to YouTube to learn how to do something means that people on YouTube are really making an impact. They are teaching people how to get things done on YouTube. So is there anything that I can also talk about on YouTube? Guys, at this point, I had no knowledge whatsoever in anything on YouTube. I had absolutely zero knowledge about YouTube. I just went to YouTube to look for ways to do things myself and get answers. But I had no knowledge, absolutely no knowledge about how YouTube operates and what it takes to earn anything on YouTube and all that. But then I started considering YouTube. So guys, I am not a video person, no. I had all the excuses. I didn't want to do it. But you know what I'm going through and how I'm feeling is not comfortable at all. So in as much as I didn't want to be in front of the camera and out here because I'm a very private person. I enjoy living my life privately as much as I didn't want to put a camera in front of me. The situation I found myself in pushed me out of my comfort zone. I actually felt like I was going down every day. I don't know if you understand what it means. I don't even seem to find words to explain how I really felt. And whenever I look at myself, I say, no, girl, this is not you. And yeah, so that is what actually pushed me here. And I am trying to see if I can do something here whilst I wait for my work permit extension to see how far my search, to continue with my search for jobs, or to see if this probably this is what God wants me to do. Then I'm sure he's going to make a way. If this is what God wants me to do, if all this was directing me, because on a normal day I wouldn't be here, guys. On a normal day I wouldn't be here. This is not me. I like personal interactions with people, so I have been teaching, I have been doing customer service, I have been doing sales. And then when I started doing this, I mean, the first few weeks were terrible. You can check my first video. Terrible. But I'm very proud of that video because it pushed me. It was my first step and I'm so proud of it. And yeah, but I have started realizing that I am loving this. I am getting enthused about the whole thing. And some comments make me think that this is not too different from what I have been doing. I have been teaching, I have been doing customer service and all that. And one day I saw a comment on one of my videos. The person said, are you a teacher or have you been a teacher? I was like, so, so that made me feel like, oh, I'm really not out of place. Being here is not out of place. Just like I come here to learn, it means that I can be here to also educate or also inform people about what I have learned. And that is also a way of making an impact, being impactful, and also being productive. So not being productive was killing me slowly. Not being productive was making me not recognize myself anymore. Not being productive was making me feel that I was putting my husband under so much pressure. The young man deserves better. And I'm so grateful that he never complains, although I see that he's going through so much just trying to provide for the family, and it's not easy, though he never complains. I'm praying that God makes a way so that I'll be able to lighten the burden for him a little. It is not easy seeing him trying to study and work and do all that campus work and off-campus work, and the fact that we come from places where that your parents become your responsibility at some time and you need to take care of them. We do it. We love to do that. That is what we do, and we do it with all pleasure and pride, and we want to continue doing that. Even in our current circumstance, we try to perform our responsibilities to our parents, and we've always been praying that nothing terrible happens to them that demands so much, because at this point we do not have that much. So we always pray to them that God should protect them, because it will be very sad that your parents are in situations where they need so much and you do not have it. So I personally always pray that, dear God, please, our current situation, please protect them. Keep them safe, because we need to do well and then give them back. They have really given us so much, And like the saying goes, to whom much is given, much is expected. Yeah. So we always pray for long lives for our parents, so that, I mean, at the point where we have so much, still we give them the little we have now, but that is not enough at all. Looking at how much they have invested in us, we are praying for long life for them, so that we'll be able to really spoil them, actually. So this is how it has been. I am still joyful. I mean, I am a very joyous person, because I have learned to not let my mood be on how situations are around me or circumstances that I find myself in. I have learned to have joy from within. So, I mean, this thing may surprise some people who know me personally, because they see me, I am happy, I go about talking to everyone, laughing with anyone, everyone, trying to lend a helping hand if I am able to. I love to assist people with things I am able to help in. I mean, that is one way that I feel productive, and I love being productive. I am used to work. I love being productive. So if you are close to me and I see that you need assistance in any way, I readily avail myself to help, and I love to do that. Okay, I love to do that. So, I mean, somebody would say that, so if this is what it is, why don't you go back home? Going back home now doesn't come in as an option, because the main motive for us coming here was not to come and work. The main motive was that my husband was coming to school, and whilst he was in school, we still wanted to be together as a family. So that is why going back home now does not come in as an option. And the other fact that, I mean, sometimes you get some jobs and the times they want you to work is not favorable because of the children. And somebody may think, why don't you take the children back home so that you get time to work? And it boils down to the same reason. We are not here mainly because of work. We are here because we want all of us to be together as one family. And my husband needs to be here. That is why we are all here with him. When he's done with school, wherever he goes, we go with him. We live together as a family because we uphold family values, and that is our family. Okay, we uphold family values, and we prioritize the importance of living together as a family. So that is why we cannot take the children back home and then go anywhere aggressively. I know people move to other provinces just to work and all that. That is why that wouldn't work for us, because we all want to live together as a family. Through it all, I must say that Canada has still been good to us. We have found so many friends. I mean, this is the first time in my life ever that I have friends from almost everywhere in the world, and I am grateful to Canada for that. Canada has given us the exposure. The children are happy to be in school here and have classmates from everywhere in the world. They are happy to learn Spanish in school, to have that access. I mean, my big girl performs in sports and activities in school, which she's excited about. She's in the choir, which she loves, and we are happy. Okay, we are happy that Canada has given us all these opportunities. So we are still very happy. We are grateful to God for how far He has brought us. We are thankful that through it all, He has still kept us sane and safe and sound. What I always think is that if we have gone through this phase, if we have been able to go through this phase, I mean, it can only be better, right? It can only be better. We have made wonderful associations with people. We have a lovely church family. They have been so supportive and loving. We can't we can't even stand missing church. We have an amazing church family, and we love to meet them frequently and worship with them because they have been very welcoming, amazing, loving, supportive, and we really appreciate them. We really, really appreciate them. So yes, still we are here, and we are only hoping for the better. We are hoping that things get better. I am praying that if everything that happened was just pushing me to come here, because maybe without that there was no way I was going to come here, then I pray that God makes a way for me here. Okay. I pray that if that is what all this is supposed to be about, to give me the push to come here, because without all these happenings I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. So my story is not like those who said, oh, all my life, I mean, since I was a child, I've enjoyed doing videos, and I posted my first video when I was 8. Or no, no, that is not the story in my case at all. That is not what it is in my case at all. This is somebody who was kind of losing herself, doesn't seem to recognize herself anymore, because she finds herself in a situation where she has never been in that situation and doesn't like it, and is trying to be productive however she can. And this came in handy. I'm trying to get to work on my own. So this is how I try to get to work on my own. I mean, whilst I wait for my work permit extension, it is how I try to get work for myself on my own. And if you have been following my channel, you see that I have been consistent, because I love to work, guys. This is me. I love to work. I don't like being unproductive. I hate unproductivity. It draws me down. It kills my spirit. And yes, it has been difficult. It has not been easy. It has not been easy at all. It's been a difficult situation, because I do not like it. Guys, I do not like it. I do not like being at home and not doing nothing. And it makes me not even want to do anything. I don't know whether it makes sense to you. So guys, that is my story. That is my song. I will forever praise my maker. I think through it all, he has been good. Okay, so I will update you on whatever happens. And like I said, I am praying that if this is supposed to be my thing, God should make a way. I need to get 1,000 subscribers to be eligible for monetization on YouTube, and that is what actually makes YouTube a business. Okay, so if you want to help me in this cause, kindly do me a favor and hit the subscribe button, okay, and add to my subscriber count. I would forever be grateful, and see that perhaps I got a job on my own. After applying for so many jobs to no avail, I finally did something for myself. So yeah, over 1 year and 2 months in Canada, unemployed, and this is how the journey has been so far. Whatever happens, guys, I'm going to update you all. I'm going to let you all know whatever happens. If you all have any advice or anything, please feel free to drop them in the comment section. I would love to read what you think. If you have any suggestions for me, I would love to know. I would love to read them. So please be generous. Drop them in the comment section, and I would love to read them. Thank you so much for staying with me through to this time. I really appreciate you being here. Stay blessed. Bye.